Alright, our essential question, how can I use what I know about the distributive property and combining like terms, which we did last week, to solve equations? So, part 1 are just equations that have the distributive property in them. The one thing you have to remember is you simplify before solving. So by simplify, I mean do the distributive property, and once that's done, we can solve the equation. So we're going to take the negative 5 outside the parentheses and distribute it. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times positive 3 is negative 15 equals 10. Notice I stopped distributing when I got to the end of the parentheses, and then I wrote my equal sign and the 10. And now that we've simplified that, it's a two-step equation. Add 15 to both sides. Negative 5x equals 25. And divide both sides by negative 5. So x equals 25 over negative 5 equals negative 5. You guys try this one on your own. Back and forth. Okay, so on this first try, we're going to take negative 2 and distribute it. Negative 2 times positive 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times, this is a negative 10, is positive 20. We're going to subtract 20 from both sides. Negative 4x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 4, and you get x equals 2. Alright, the next part is combining like terms. So there isn't distributive property here, there's just like terms that need to be combined. Again, we're going to simplify before we before we solve the equation. So when we say simplify, we need to take all of our like terms and add them up. So a positive 3x and a negative 7x makes negative 4x. And we're going to stop when we hit the equal sign, so there is nothing to combine with this 2. So I'm just going to write plus 2 equals 30. So we can't combine across the equal sign. This is an expression. You just combine like terms on this side of the equation with the one expression. This is now a two-step equation, so we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Negative 4x equals 28. Divide both sides by negative 4. X equals negative 7. On this U-try, you have a negative 8x and a negative 1x to combine. You also need to combine the positive 4 and the positive 12. So just look on the one side of the equal sign and combine those like terms. You're going to have a fraction as an answer. So leave that answer as a fraction. So hopefully after you combined your like terms, you had negative 9x plus 16 equals 27. Subtract 16 from both sides. And our last step is dividing by negative 9. When you do that, right here, this is a fraction because of the way you're showing your work. 11 divided by negative 9, that's a fraction. That fraction is your answer because it cannot be simplified. So x equals negative 11 over 9, negative 11 ninths. If you got a decimal, it would have been negative 2.2 repeating. But you don't want to, or negative 1.2 repeating. You don't want to write that. You want to write this fraction. Okay, are there questions on the front of this page? Okay, the back is just combining the front. So when you have equations that have parentheses and multiple terms in it, we distribute first to get rid of the parentheses because distributing is multiplication. And then we combine our like terms to simplify that because that's addition. So we do our multiplication first, just like order of operations. We're going to distribute first. So I'll take this 4 and I'll distribute it just inside the parentheses. 4 times 3k is 12k. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32 minus 11k. So once the parentheses end, I stop distributing. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to combine like terms. 12k plus negative 11k, 12 plus negative 11 is 1. This negative 32 we just leave as minus 32. And then we solve this. So we're going to add 32 to both sides. 2 plus 32 is 34. And that's our answer. This next one is just like the one we did on the warm-up. There's a negative outside the parentheses that we have to distribute. So we're changing the sign of everything inside the parentheses. So this will be 3t minus 2 minus 2t. And this one, you have to distribute twice. Distribute a negative 8 and distribute a positive 6. So work on those two. Make sure you're doing both of the U-tries.